West Virginia has to replace one of the most productive running backs in school history in 2022. Can they do it? Let's talk about it. What is up, college sports fans, fellow members of Mountaineer Nation? This is Coos, and welcome to another edition of Coos' Corner. Sit back, relax, and let me give you another shot of college football content. Top shelf college football content. And I want to announce, folks, I'm proud to say that I have partnered with earsgear.com. That's right, earsgear.com, part of the Ears Nation family. Go to earsgear.com. I'll put the link in the description box. Purchase a t-shirt or a hoodie. They have all kinds of designs. They have one I'll put on the screen right now for you. Stress Virginia. That's the life of a Mountaineer fan, especially today. You can get those shirts. It's available in both blue and gold editions, along with a lot of other options. Type in Coos, C-O-U-Z, with all capital letters. Make sure it's all capital letters because it is case sensitive. Put that in the description. Put that in as a promo code. You'll save 20% on your purchase. Check out earsgear.com. Now let's get on with the show. Leddie Brown finishes his West Virginia Mountaineers career with over 2,800 yards rushing, over 2,000 of those coming just in the past two seasons. He sits 6th all-time at West Virginia in rushing yards and 7th all-time in rushing touchdowns. And he also accumulated over 400 yards receiving in his career. So a very productive back that West Virginia lost to graduation in Leddie Brown. He was basically the cog to the offense the last two seasons. Can the Mountaineers replace that productivity? I think they can, and I think they'll be even better. And I'm going to tell you why. The reason, depth. West Virginia has 4 running backs on their roster right now who I think can be as good, if not better, than Leddie Brown. All 4 of them. 3 of those 4 are 4-star recruits. So as far as talent level, I think West Virginia may be the deepest they've been at running back in overall talent. Definitely in the Neal Brown era. Maybe even throughout the entire Dana Holgorsen era. I don't know. I can't remember the last time West Virginia had 4 running backs this talented in the same room at the same time. I remember when they had Owen Schmidt, Steve Slayton, and Noel Devine in the room at the same time. That might be the last time they've had a running back room this deep. Now, I'm not saying any of these guys will end up being as good as Steve Slayton or even Noel Devine, but I think the depth that we will have gives us a lot more options. We won't have to rely as much on one guy. I'm going to break down each one of these guys for you a little bit, just to give you a little bit of brief info on each one. Let's start out with Lyn-J Dixon. Lyn-J Dixon is the transfer we got in from Clemson this year. He's a speedy back. I watched an interview with him on the Country Roads Trust, their first webcast, their first podcast called Climbing the Mountain. I interviewed Lyn-J. They asked him how fast he ran. The last time he ran a 40, he was 18 or 19 years old. He ran a 4.42 40-yard dash. That's fast, guys. Just to compare, Leddie Brown ran a 4.7 at the NFL Combine a couple weeks ago. Think about that. A 4.7 to a 4.42. That is lightning fast, guys. He's got 2 years of eligibility left. At Clemson, he amassed over 1,600 all-purpose yards, along with 14 touchdowns. He averaged 6.5 yards per carry at Clemson. One of the highest productivity levels as far as yards per carry in Clemson history, actually. And he was a 4-star recruit coming out of high school and was listed as the 10th best all-purpose back in the nation. Now, my biggest question mark about Lyn-J, he did leave Clemson only 3 games into the season because of some locker room issues. He apparently wasn't seeing eye to eye with the new running backs coach they had. Don't know what happened there. But, it is cause for concern. Neal Brown said he vetted that situation and is totally comfortable with Lyn-J being on the team. Let's look at Tony Mathis, Leddie Brown's backup from last year, who is projected to be the starter this year. But Tony Mathis actually had a lot of similarities to Leddie Brown. He's a big downhill runner, more of a power runner versus a quick twitch guy like a Dixon. And what I like about Mathis and Dixon together, they will provide like a thunder and lightning combination. You can bring Dixon in for speed, bring Mathis in for the downhill power. If you got a third and short, bring him in the game. He had a very productive second half of the season, especially the last 2 games. He gained over 100 yards against Kansas in the regular season finale, and then was a starter in the bowl game against Minnesota. because Leddie Brown set the game out. He gained over 50 yards rushing, also had a few receptions against a very, very good and very stingy Minnesota defense. And he had a few good plays in that game, even though West Virginia didn't play good overall offensively. Tony Mathis looked pretty good and was fairly productive in that game. Now let's look at the two young guys, Justin Johnson. Justin Johnson was the third string back on the team last year behind Brown and Mathis. But him being a true freshman did not get a huge amount of snaps. He played 67 snaps last season, showed some really good signs of very good potential. He was a 4-star recruit coming out of high school. They said he was a very good back, a back with very good speed and catch the ball coming out of the backfield, which we all know is going to be important in this air raid system. Now, he was a bit inconsistent last year. Like I said, he did show some signs of being explosive, but he was inconsistent at times, especially in the blocking game. But look, he was a true freshman. Most true freshman running backs at the Division I FBS level are not good blockers because they don't have to do a whole lot of blocking in high school, so it takes some time for them to adjust to the college game, to the speed and the size of the guys they're having to block. So I feel okay with Johnson. I think he'll come around on that. I'm sure the coaching staff will get him ready. I feel good about what we have in Justin Johnson as being that third guy that can come in and make big plays for the Mountaineers out of the backfield. By the way, before I move on to Jaylen Anderson, I want to remind you, please, if you like this video, give me that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't yet. And also, I want to give credit to Travis Kenobi, a writer for Last Word on Sports College Football. He's the one I got most of this information from. I asked that you go check out Travis's articles and his writings. I want to put a link to his page in my description box and a link to this article. Now, last but not least, Jaylen Anderson. Jaylen Anderson is a freshman. Spent most of last season on the practice squad and redshirted. He was actually part of the 2021 recruiting class, but did not get to campus until fall because of some academic issues he had to work through. But he did come. He came late, but he was able to contribute on the practice squad and developmental team, and the coaching staff has raved about his talent. He was the 6th best all-purpose back in the country coming out of high school in the 2021 class. One good thing I love about Jaylen Anderson when you read about him, he's a team-first guy. In high school, he played 3 different positions. He played tailback, H-back, and even played some slot receiver. So that shows me a couple things. One, he's a team player. He'll do whatever his team needs him to do to win. 2, he's very versatile. He can play any position you need him to play. Now, the one thing that does worry me a little bit is the coaching staff says he's a little bit out of shape. They've got to get him in shape. I'm assuming that means he's a little heavy. So it's up to him. He's going to have to get in shape. He's going to have to eat right, do the right workouts, really work close with the training staff to get where he needs to be. But if he can do that, he might be able to contribute as early as this season. And I really hope Jaylen Anderson does that because, like I said, the coaching staff has raved about how good he is. He's a very talented athlete, yet another 4-star recruit. Very, very good football player. Well, guys, I want to hear from you in the comment section. Who do you think will be West Virginia's #1 running back this season? Do you think one of these guys that I listed will be the guy and will get most of the carries? Do you think it'll be more of a running back by committee type scenario? Do you think it'll be Lyn-J and Tony kind of, splitting reps there and sharing the load with maybe Justin Johnson as a third string guy? What do you think? Let me know. Listen, I really appreciate your support. I appreciate you tuning in. Don't forget to check out earsgear.com. Use COUZ as your promo code to get 20% off. Capital COUZ, all caps. I really appreciate your support. Q Country Roads.